are now listening to Lauer Road Radio.
Hey, welcome one and all to the #1 podcast, winter, spring, and fall. Talking sports for the thrill of it all. Hey, talking life, but we're killing it all. Jason and Dan with the master plan. These are dangerous men with the mic in the hand. Ha. Bonafide winners everywhere that we go. You're a part of the team.
Lauer Radio.
Dad light, thug light, bright lights in sight. All right. What? Dad light, thug light, bright lights in sight. All right. Yeah. Dad light, thug light, bright lights in sight. All right. What? Bonafide winners everywhere that we go. You're a part of the team.
Lauer Radio.
Let's get it. What?
At Tanagra, when the walls fell, this is Dan Owings coming at you another time for Lauer Road Radio with my co-host, as always, Jason. How you doing today?
Good. The prophecies have come true.
Right.
Our 7-Eleven gas station here, I was driving up this evening. The price of gas is now $7.11 at 7-Eleven. Hey. I mean, they've been prophesying this for years.
It was bound to happen.
And now it's happening right now.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
And it's really fun because I've got a huge van for the whole family. And it's fun to put $150 of gas in the van.
And fill it halfway.
Yeah.
We last week promised that we're going to start reading reviews every single week when we get started.
We also promised to do the Mount Rushmore of food to polish off.
Yes, and we will not forget that. But before that, reviews. This is the review from Farmer BB. Who knows who that is? Great podcast to listen to. Oh, he said TOO. So
Is he
either
being
meant
dumb on purpose.
He might have been meaning great podcast to listen to. Like, also,
yeah.
But that doesn't make a lot of sense. While you mindlessly circumnavigate cornfields in your autonomously controlled combine harvester thresher.
They don't make farmers like they used to.
No, they don't.
Those are a lot of big words.
Somebody's in a autonomously controlled combine harvester thresher and listening to the show. And apparently, if you find yourself in that situation, it's a good one to listen to. Joe, not Farmer Joe, but you know what? I don't know how to find the more of this because it says read more. Because you just sent me
that's
that
on mine.
screenshot.
Yeah. So this was a comment. This wasn't a.
This is from Shoeless Joe.
Yeah, this is.
We
Shoeless
should have
Joe.
a Farmer Joe. We have a Farmer Bob.
We do.
We have Shoeless Joe, and we have
Joe Jr.
Joe Jr.
What do we need?
I think a Farmer Joe would
Farmer
be nice.
Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Which video was that on?
It was the Count of Saint Germain. It was the lying episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let me go to that one here.
I actually listened to it. I didn't listen to it right afterwards because it was just so painful. And I listened to it this week, and
It's okay.
okay.
Yep.
How do I find comments?
Savannah was a big fan.
Yeah, we're not lying anymore.
Oh, never mind. She's texting me like, "Are you being sarcastic? Are you being facetious?" She has used all these the synonyms.
Facetious is such a good word.
She's using
If you can't find it, you can't find it. This is horrible.
Well, I thought you would keep going. I don't know.
It's fine. It doesn't really matter.
What's it say on
It's
there?
just that Joe said my favorite part of any episode ever. So Joe liked it. He's a fan.
Yeah.
Dan making Jason say that LeBron is the GOAT. Great move, Dan. You saw the door cracked and you kicked it open. And said, and FYI, Toadsuck is a travel destination.
Yeah.
And then it continues. So, okay. So there you go. So write in your reviews on the podcast app, on the Apple Store, or wherever you can, and we'll do our best to find them and read them on the show.
Yes. So
How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
We have a special guest in the studio tonight.
We do. Mm-hmm. Is he on the? Can he be on the? Is he on the camera? This is Theodore. What's Theodore's middle name?
Jacoby.
Theodore Jacoby Owings.
Yep.
And he's a big fan of the show.
Big fan.
He's the future of the show. Let's face it.
What'd we say? Him and
Maddox are the future of the show.
I can bring Maddox in.
We
He
prefer-
asked to come with me today. I thought 6 years old, a little bit too young.
Probably.
I don't know.
Probably.
Our senses of humor.
No, Maddox. I think Maddox and Teddy are the future of the show. There's no
Okay.
doubt about it.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it.
So what? 15 years we'll hand it off?
Yeah, I think so. Mm-hmm.
You'll have a successful show by then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll be giving you something of substance. We still keep I don't know, 20% at least.
More than that.
Okay.
I mean, we own it.
Yeah,
we
that's
own
true.
the
What are we
show.
talking about?
They're the
This is-
yeah.
Before we started, I said, "Are you my replacement? Is this the episode where they're gonna fire me?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Yeah, hopefully."
Yeah, and he's been roasting you since he got here. So, so last week we teased it and we said we're going to do the Mount Rushmore of foods to polish off.
Yes.
I think it's because you said you could polish off a whole pizza,
Yeah, I can.
and it got me thinking.
Yes.
There are other foods that you polish off, and it also feels like there are some foods that you don't polish off.
Yes.
Right?
Now,
So
would you classify this as polishing off food as something like fresh, like a pizza?
Yeah.
Going to polish off this whole pizza, or like leftovers?
I think fresh or leftovers, the implication is that it's more food than one ought to eat, but you've hit that point of no return where it's just like, I don't want 2 slices of pizza as a leftover.
I'm just gonna polish
I'm
it
just
off.
going to go ahead and polish this thing off. Right?
Yeah.
Like you said with the cereal.
Yeah.
Where you pour the cereal and you're like, there's like maybe a half a bowl, 3/4 of a bowl left.
Yeah.
I don't want to, I'm just going to polish this whole bowl of cereal off.
Yes.
And so I think the implication is that it's more food than one ought to eat.
Yes.
Than maybe even one planned on eating. But at this point, you're like, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and polish it off.
I
So-
do this with ice cream in my house
Well, yeah, that's a big one.
because you got a tub of ice cream, and for us, there's 6 of us.
Sure.
Because we got rid of Stella, so we're down to 6. And if there's not enough to split that 6 ways, I'm just going to polish
You're
it
going to go
off.
ahead and polish that off.
5.5 ways. Jason's like, "Well, don't want someone to be mad."
Out of
half
my
a
control.
half a serving short of 6.
Yeah.
Better to eat all 5.5 myself.
You get tubs of ice cream.
It's typically cheaper.
Yeah.
Like the big generic tub.
Neapolitan?
We do usually 1 Neapolitan and 1 cookies and cream.
And does anybody like the strawberry? Like, do
I like
people
it.
go for the strawberry?
Yeah. I like it.
There's a private selection Kroger brand called Brown Butter Bourbon Truffle. That's the name of it.
That sounds good.
It's phenomenal. It's
Yeah.
so good. So I highly recommend the brown butter bourbon truffle ice cream.
Yeah.
It's very good.
I mean, my go-to is the mint chocolate chip.
I love a mint chocolate chip.
Yeah.
Do you like the mint chocolate chip with the shavings of chocolate? or
Well,
the
one
chips?
there's one called like mint Rocky Road or mint. It's like
Yeah, I
chunks.
hear what you're saying.
The chunks. I like the chunks.
You like the chunks.
Yeah.
I like the shavings of chocolate.
Yeah, that's
what I
fine.
like. But anyway, we're not talking about mint chocolate chip ice cream, or maybe we are.
Well, I think tub of ice cream.
You think ice cream
Yes.
is a food you polish off?
Yes, because
Okay.
there's often not enough to go around, and it's a comfort food.
Okay. All right.
So we got pizza and ice cream, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
I think cereal has to be one.
Yeah. I mean, at first I thought I was thinking that cereal wouldn't be one, but the more you think about it, yeah. I think you polish off a bowl of popcorn. You think so? Because I can
I
eat,
just assume popcorn is going to be an all-consuming thing every time. You don't necessarily go to, like polishing it off is like, I'm going to do something different this time. Because if I make
sure.
a bowl of popcorn, I'm going to eat a bowl of popcorn. It's like
Yeah.
bowling a bowl of cereal. I'm going to eat the whole bowl of cereal. But to polish it off, like a whole pizza,
yeah.
I don't need to eat a whole pizza.
One does not need to eat a whole pizza.
Although I did last week. I polished off. a little
polished
bit.
it off.
Yeah. So pizza, ice cream, cereal.
Okay.
I love pouring meat, like frosted mini wheats, like a whole box into a punch bowl.
Oh yeah.
Milk.
Jethro.
I have not had frosted mini wheats in a
you're
while.
missing out.
I love frosted mini wheats.
And
Okay, when you eat frosted mini wheats, do you just eat one mini wheat at a time?
yes.
Okay, then do you do frosted side down,
yes.
on the tongue? That's the way to
Frosted
go.
side down on the
Frosted
tongue.
side down.
Is there another way?
I don't
No.
think so.
I don't know.
I also there's a perfect level of crunchiness to sogginess
Yes.
of frosted mini wheats. That's why
I'll eat them
wouldn't-
soggy and I'll eat them crunchy.
Yeah.
But if you can find that sweet spot,
The sweet spot is phenomenal, which is why when it comes to frosted mini wheats, I would say you don't pour a big bowl and then you're left with
You add to
You just
it.
keep on adding
Yeah.
it, and then you just kind of cycle.
I
through.
have eaten frosted mini wheats dry. It's not as bad
I've
as
done
you think.
it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend it. Do they have? Is there anything other than frosted mini wheats now? Do they have the big ones still, or is it just the mini wheats?
What were the other ones? Like wheats?
Well,
shredded wheat. That's what it was.
Frosted, and it was
No,
like
it was
a
just-
big.
Yeah, it's like a chunk, a
it was
bar
like a
of
big bar
wheat.
of it. I don't think they make that anymore.
No,
I think it's
because
just
I
the-
remember being a kid and like snapping them.
Sure, I remember snapping them.
Yeah.
Mount Rushmore of foods you snap.
Oh,
Pretzel rod.
I feel like
Don't
you
you
set
think
this
so?
whole thing up just for the pretzel rod.
I think you snap a pretzel rod.
I think you do snap
I
a
think-
pretzel rod. Like a green bean, like in the garden.
Yeah, okay. All right. That's got to be on the list.
Yeah.
Green bean, because it's like snap green beans, I think is what they called.
Yeah.
Is what they called. So pretzel rod, snap green bean. What brought this situation up?
There's 6 people in the room. Nobody remembers. What do we say? You
Well,
snap
things
it.
you snap. Yeah.
Oh, frosted mini wheats.
Oh, yeah.
Or shredded wheats.
They do still make the shredded wheats, but the mini wheats are much more prominent.
Yeah.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's another food you snap? It feels like, do you snap a fun dip stick?
Oh,
You ever snap that?
I don't.
You don't.
No,
I don't.
I like
snap
keeping
it
the whole
either.
thing.
Yeah. Okay.
A banana.
No, I don't think it. It has
I've seen
to
people do it.
Yeah, but it doesn't. It's got to make a sound. It's not a snap if it doesn't make a sound. Then you're just breaking it in half.
What are your 3 current ones?
Well,
think we have 2.
So far, we have pretzel rods and snap green
green
beans.
beans, yeah.
A Hershey's bar.
Oh,
One
there
of
you
the
go.
Hershey
Yeah,
bars,
yeah.
snap
Okay.
it.
Kit
Yeah.
Kat.
A Kit Kat.
Oh.
Well,
Crackers.
because when
What'd you say?
Graham crackers.
graham crackers.
Graham crackers.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
you snap a graham cracker.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you're dunking it in milk, because if
I-
you snap it, it's a little bit too short.
I feel like the Kit
you're-
Kat though, because
Yeah.
you literally snap. Unless you're a
Yes.
crazy person, you eat it like like just a bite out
Four
of it.
crossed.
Those people should be taken directly to the insane asylum.
Yeah.
Insane asylum. Yeah, those people are messed up.
Break me
Prison.
off a piece of that Kit
Yeah.
Kat bar.
Come on, what are we talking
Just
about?
the Office episode.
Break me off a piece of that.
football game. No,
Piece of football
Yeah.
cream.
Okay, so it's Kit
All right.
Kat, pretzel rod, green bean, and what'd you say, Teddy?
Graham crackers. I feel like graham
yeah,
crackers are
that's
good.
good. I like it.
Okay.
Okay, what was the first round Mount Rushmore we're doing? Polishing off food.
We said pizza, ice cream.
You suggested popcorn.
I suggested popcorn, but
Yeah.
we definitely said pizza, popcorn, and cereal.
Yes, we just got one more to do.
You know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and polish off. I'm just trying to say
okay,
it.
so in our house,
Uh-huh.
like we always make more spaghetti than what we need.
Oof, man.
And
Oh,
then
yeah.
it goes into the fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the truth is, day 2 or 3, nobody's going to eat it.
yeah.
So you know what happens? I polish it off.
Yeah, polishing it off. I think here you go. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Leftovers.
Just in general.
Just in general.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
almost exclusively polish off leftovers.
Yes.
I mean, the fact that it is a leftover means it needs to be. It hasn't
has to
been
be polished
It
off.
means it has not been polished off.
It needs to be.
It needs to be polished
Okay,
off.
that's what it is.
Okay.
Leftovers, pizza, ice cream, and the other one.
Yeah,
Cereal.
the other one. Cereal.
Yeah.
All right, Mount Rushmore of foods you don't polish off.
A huge bowl of spaghetti. Oh,
I feel like things you don't polish off would be things that you just don't want a lot of.
you know, before the episode,
I would say espresso,
yeah,
right?
yeah, pot of coffee.
You polish off a pot
I
of
do
coffee.
polish off a pot of coffee.
All right.
Remember before the episode, you're like, man, I've got some things to talk about tonight.
I think I was like, I got some things.
Are these what you were talking about?
No, no, none of this is what I was talking about. Jason, what do you have?
Okay, so there was a local police dog retired today.
Yeah.
Canine 6, I believe was his name. I want to know 2 things. One, what does retirement for a dog look like? And number 2, I want to do what other animals can assist police.
Okay. So first of all, retirement for a dog. I mean, if has the dog been fixed? Because then the retirement, is a different situation.
changes some
It
things.
does definitely. does.
I-
I don't think we need to go into it more than that.
I'm guessing a police dog's fixed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So assuming the police dog is fixed, I know actually what retirement, because I know what had happened. I mean, someone adopts the dog and they keep it as a family pet. In fact, I'm going to have a neighbor who has a police dog.
Really?
A retired police dog.
Canine
as a pet.
6?
I think so.
Really?
I'm not 100% sure about that, but
Huh.
it's a retired police dog. I know that.
So my thought is those dogs, they're trained to work.
Yes.
Right?
Mhm.
They
Yep.
find enjoyment in that. So is a life outside of working boring for a dog?
Well, I think almost every dog, especially those like German Shepherds, it's not only that they're trained to work, which those are, but it's like in their DNA.
Yeah.
Like my dog is a shepherding type dog.
It
That's
needs
his
a
breed.
shepherd.
And so he needs a job.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now he's older, so he doesn't really care. He just likes to lay around. But when he was younger, his job was to chase the squirrels out of the yard. And whenever the cars would come in the parking lot, he would get behind the cars and then kind of like herd them in, or or if the kids were running around the yard, he would kind of like try to just instinctively herd them.
Yeah.
So I think every dog needs some sort of purpose in life. So I think that, maybe it might deal with some dog depression. Maybe it needs to go to a dog therapist.
Yeah.
Maybe it needs to take some dog Xanax. I don't know. But I think overall, it's probably a good life for the dog.
For a retired dog.
I think I'd like to live the life of a retired dog.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would too.
Mm-hmm. Just to live the life of a dog. You can poop wherever you want. People got to pick it up,
Or don't.
It's a total power move.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gonna do something about that? I'm not gonna do anything.
Imagine the conflict in the dog's mind if it got adopted by someone who did drugs, and the dog was trained to sniff them out. It wouldn't know what to do.
Now that you mention that, I don't know if I want this dog as my it's gonna be going nuts all the time.
Scratching at your door, trying to alert the.
You're just like, sit, 9. Go away, dog.
So what is the other thing?
Other animals that could assist police, because obviously dogs
Horses.
are known to assist police. Horses, that'd be a great one.
That'd
I
be
didn't
the
think
big
about
one.
that.
There's horse cop.
I think
There's
like
cop
falconry. Like you get a falcon
Okay.
to go like grab
Yeah.
someone
I think in the old days, a carrier pigeon.
to send messages.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think that makes sense. Are we just going to Mount Rushmore this?
Let's go ahead and Mount Rushmore this.
Dogs other than dogs.
Oh, so dogs can't be
Dogs
the
can't
George
be on it,
Washington.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Is
other
this
than dogs.
animals that actually do, or animals that we think should
Could and would.
Could, would, should, can.
be interested?
Other than dogs.
Other than dogs. So horses would be the big one.
Yeah.
I would say, I mean, what can I know falconry is like a thing, but what could it actually do?
I mean, have you seen their talons? I mean, they
Yeah.
could totally stop anybody.
Put a laser, like cops put a laser on the back of a criminal's head that's running, and the falcon
And the
is
falcon just
trained
goes
to-
and attaches. Some of those falcons are like 200 miles an hour.
Okay.
Super fast.
Peregrine falcons are.
Yeah.
All right. I like carrier pigeon because it actually
Okay.
serves a purpose.
I think a falcon serves a purpose.
I don't know.
Totally takes down the bad guy.
I don't know if it could take them down. I think.
I think it would.
Yeah, you think so?
Oh, yeah. They're huge.
Okay.
Those are big. Big
Gorillas.
birds. Huh?
Gorillas.
So
Can you
like to
imagine
put a
the
gorilla in a
intimidation?
police
Yes,
uniform
that's
with
what I'm
a billy
picturing.
club?
I think
Yep.
these have to be animals that can be trained, though.
Well, do you
a
know of
chimpanzee.
Coco the gorilla? It was
Coco?
trained. It
Use
was
that one for like an FBI or something.
Who let this kid
I
in
don't
here?
know. He's talking about making a gorilla an FBI agent.
Well,
like, yeah,
no,
they're too
I
big
just
to be
don't feel like
cops.
you could actually train a gorilla. Like, I don't think you could. I think the gorilla would be just as likely to kill the cops as he would be to kill the bad guys. He'd be terrifying.
Well, if the
I mean,
cop
a gorilla
raised
busting
it.
a door on a SWAT team, you're like,
Well, yeah, the criminals are like, no, I'm not
I want
doing it.
nothing to
You're
do
like,
with it.
Listen, you're gonna sit down, or I'm gonna sick Harambe on you.
yeah,
Yeah.
a gorilla with an AK-47 just busting through the door and a bulletproof vest.
a Kevlar vest.
Yeah,
I want nothing to do with
I
that.
admit that's terrifying.
Terrifying, man. It makes me want to not be a criminal even more.
A silverback in Kevlar with an AK-47.
All
That's
of
the
the-
most terrifying thing I've ever
That's
thought
the
of.
next Sharknado type movie.
All of that being said, I don't think that the gorilla belongs on this list.
I don't
'cause
think you could train him.
I don't think you can train it. It's just going to do what it wants to do.
Yeah.
That's the same reason you can't put any cats on this list, because cats can't be trained.
No. What about
So-
something aquatic?
An octopus.
What's it going to do?
I think they're
You-
smart.
What's any
but-
other aquatic animal gonna do?
I think a dolphin does lots of things.
Sure, but I'm pretty
It
sure
could track down, like, listen, there's drug runners that run boats from, like, Colombia.
And you think that the
Like
the
a dolphin
dolphins
could
can
track it
smell-
down.
You think so?
Yeah. I don't know.
And you could put like a little turret
think you
on the
don't know.
dolphin's fin.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That feels limited to me.
Okay.
I don't think like the Marion police would be like,
Well, not the Marion police. The Miami police, maybe.
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know that it makes the list though. I think horse,
Okay.
and we'll go falcon,
Yeah.
and we'll say carrier pigeon.
Okay, so we only got one more.
What are the carrier pigeons even gonna do?
Deliver messages.
Deliver messages.
We have phones.
But what if all the phones go
Well,
down?
this is the all-time Mount Rushmore
Okay.
of
yeah.
Okay,
So
fair
like
enough.
200 years ago,
before cell phones.
some Bobby at Scotland Yard needs to get a message somewhere else.
Yeah.
They're going to use a carrier pigeon.
Absolutely.
Once again, I think it does come down to the training thing, because like hypothetically speaking, well, I don't think that this animal necessarily would have to be trained. Okay, so let me set a scenario for you.
Okay.
You got the cops, they're surrounding David Koresh and his people
In Waco, Texas.
in Waco, Texas. And the cops did a bad job of getting them out of there,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
What's the best thing that you could do to get them out of there? You just, in every window possible, you throw in a skunk, right?
Okay.
And then they're going to
Just
clear that place out.
skunk 'em out.
Don't you think? Just,
Yeah.
right?
Or about bees.
Ooh, bees.
A hornet's nest. You toss a couple hornet's nests in there.
And you got some honey. So that's not bad, right?
You know, in World War II, there was a program to attach little incendiary, like fire bombs on bats.
Ooh, I like
And
that.
they were going to release them in Japan. This is before they came up with the nuke. They were trying to figure out another weapon. And they were going to release these bats, and they were going to go into all these cracks and crevices and then flip the switch, and then you have fires across all of Japan.
I like this.
Bats.
These are good ideas.
Yeah.
That's how Corona started. Most people don't realize.
Yeah, that's true. You know, the other thing in World War II that they were going to do is they had a pigeon inside of the nose of a bomb, and there was a little window,
Yeah.
and they trained this pigeon to tap something for food,
Yeah.
like a spot on a table. And so when it was pointing at a building, the pigeon would tap where the building was on this glass,
Yeah.
and the bomb would move according to where the pigeon is
Pretty
tapping.
cool.
Yeah, it is very cool. Now, you could only do this one time.
And I read a
I mean,
story.
this bird cannot
Years
repeat
of
this.
training for
Years of
one
training
mission.
for one mission.
I read a story that the Germans put these bombs on these German shepherds, and that the German shepherds were supposed to run to the tank, and then if they could get to the tank and then the bomb would blow up, they trained them to like go under the tank or
Yeah.
something. But they could. But whatever sound they were looking for ended up only being on the German tanks.
Oh, gosh.
So then they'd turn around, and it didn't last long.
No,
that whole
I wouldn't think so.
experiment. So I think we're definitely at horses, carrier pigeons, and falcons. I still feel like I like skunk because I feel like
Okay.
skunk
You can
doesn't
do a
even have
lot
to be
with a
trained.
skunk.
You just throw them in there, and then boom.
You're swinging it by the tail.
You know, I think you can do a lot with a skunk.
Okay.
You know, I think we replace carrier pigeon. If we're gonna do another bird,
Okay.
I think crows. Crows are the most intelligent bird.
What are you gonna do
out
with it?
there? Well, one, it can do the same thing a carrier pigeon can do.
But carrier
It
pigeons
also-
are trained for this.
Also crows have reasoning abilities that other birds do not. Did you know a crow can understand water displacement? That if there's a
I don't
snack,
know what water displacement
I don't
is.
understand it.
Well, I could go on a whole thing, and it's not funny. It's just neat. But crows are really very smart animals.
I'm-
and they
yeah,
I feel like we're
recognize
missing
people.
something very obvious.
It does feel like
Gorilla and Kevlar with machine gun. I'm stuck
That's
there.
terrifying.
like a beaver. You know, they make dams, and I mean they're
You
pretty handy.
Chew down the front door. Yeah. Or we just put dog on it.
Let's just do that. All right. So that's your thing.
That's my thing.
All right. I know I've talked about this before. It feels like this is something that we've talked about a lot, but I went to. I'm not proud of it. I went to McDonald's today. And
It's been years since I've eaten
yeah,
McDonald's.
I don't really. I go to McDonald's somewhat frequently because I just get a black coffee quite a bit at
Yeah,
McDonald's
yeah.
because it's so cheap and it's always very consistent. So quite a bit I'll go through. But today I actually I got actual food. So
What'd you get?
I got some kind of chicken sandwich and a double cheeseburger. It's fine.
Double sponge burger?
Yeah, I know. It's very spongy, which I kind of like. So, but the 2-line situation, I still
The drive-thru.
right. Like the other day, I was at a drive-thru. It was at a McDonald's when I was getting a black coffee, and you know, I mean, it's just there's just common courtesy. You know, you just
every
let
other.
every other car, and
Yeah.
this one car zipped in front of this guy the other day, and the guy rolls down his window, is like, "You do know how this works, right?" I just love that phrase, and the guy was like, you know, then they're yelling at each other, but I love that. You do know how this works, right? That was really funny. Well, today it's every other situation,
Yeah.
you know, and the car to the right, I'm on the inside track, and I immediately told Erica, "There's no way." This is not going to go well, because she was no eye contact. She was
Oh, the lady. Yeah. Did she have the inside lane?
she had the outside lane, and she was.
Okay.
I could tell she was going to scoot, you know, and she would not make eye contact with me.
And she was out of turn.
She was out of turn. She knew what she was doing.
Yeah.
And she was the whole time she was just, you know, would not look over.
Yeah.
Didn't even like look at my bumper. She was just, and I feel like the moment I see you're not going to make eye contact with me shows me you're gonna be cheating here.
Yeah.
Right. So, and I've done it, you know, and
I've
I don't
done it
make
too.
eye contact.
Yeah.
That's right.
If you're in a hurry,
yeah, it would take quite a jerk to be like, look over, be like,
I will stare someone dead in the eye. If they're being indecisive about going in the line, I'll stare them dead in the eye and be like, "This is my spot."
So I think there's a difference when it's really, really busy. Every other makes a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
I've been there when it's not busy, and it's like maybe there's 2 or 3 cars that take one lane and then pull the outside, and I've been there where a point where it's like you both kind of go at once,
Right.
And it's not every other one because there's
Yeah.
nothing in front of you, so that could be tricky,
right.
I'm okay
this
with
was
that.
not a tricky situation.
Yeah.
And it caused the people at McDonald's problems, because then when my order came up, he's like, 11:15, and I was like, no, ours was like 15 something. He's like, oh, hold on one second. And then they had to do that whole thing, and he comes back, he's like, yeah, 15:25 or something. And I was like, yeah, and then he gave me my car back, and he's like, all right, 11:15. I was like, no, it was 15 something. He's like, yeah, I know. And I was like, all right. He was not the sharpest.
Yeah.
And then I get to the next window, and they're like, what did you have? You know? And so it was like a whole thing.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah. And the no eye contact.
I'm
thing.
the guy that will say something
To the person?
Yeah, if someone cuts me off, I'm rolling down
You
my.
are.
You know, I can't.
You do know how this works, right?
Yeah. Yeah. See, I pulled off. Like, I just try to put them out of their comfort zone.
Yeah, you
something,
are good at that.
You know, but something where it makes them feel stupid.
Yeah.
Is there something I can help you with?
Oh.
You know, something like that.
Jeez.
Passive
I mean,
aggressive, more on the aggressive than the passive.
aggressive passive.
I'm more of aggressive passive.
I'm passive passive.
I enjoy
But
that.
one day I'm going to blow, and you don't want to be around when that happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got anger.
You buried
from
it up so
everything you ever did to me as a kid, every disappointment, the time I got cut from the 8th grade basketball team.
Yeah.
You know, it's all piling up, right? You know, and it's just, you know, like Krakatoa, just about ready
See,
to blow.
my pressure valve, I got to pull that once a day.
No, you're constantly really, it's much healthier.
Yeah.
You're much healthier emotionally than I am.
On the surface, people would look at you and say, "You're a nicer guy."
No, I am just rage beneath the surface.
And
One
they
day
might look at me and say, "Why is he so mean?"
the problem is you just don't know when that's going to blow,
Yeah.
right? You don't know the straw that broke the camel's back. You don't know which one
That's
it's going to
right.
be.
Yeah.
And when it happens, it might happen towards Jesse. It might happen
could be
towards you,
anybody.
my kids, my
Yeah.
wife. Who knows? The McDonald's worker. It's going to happen.
See, my
And-
pressure. Once I release that pressure valve,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
No.
I got nothing going on.
No,
Yeah.
I'm hoping that I can, you know, I'm hoping I can keep it at bay
Yeah.
for quite a while. But at some point, someone's just going to get completely
and you're going to lose it.
It's not going to be good.
Yeah.
Violence. There'll be all sorts of words said.
Let's say those drive-through lines are a pain. So I wash windows at lots of fast food places, and I have to do the drive.
Humble brag.
Humble
Yeah.
brag. All the fast food places. But I have to do the drive-throughs. And sometimes I get there in the middle of their lunch rush. Well, I have a job to do. Sometimes while I'm washing windows, someone will try to pull around me and so now I'm between them and the window that they're supposed to be. And then they're too far from the window, and they're trying to get me to give the money to the people. And this
I don't
lady
like
the
that.
other day, and sometimes they'll try to pull around me, and I'll just back up.
Yeah.
So they can't. Like, you wait 12 seconds. 12 seconds, I'll be out of here. Well, 2 days ago, some lady did it, and I backed up, and she kept on going around me. So now she's like 7 or 8 feet from the window. And she goes, "Oh, do I stop here and pay, or do I go up to the next one?" I said, "No, you pay here. The person in there is ready for your money." She said, "Oh, I guess I should have just waited on you, huh?" Yeah.
What would you do in that
should've.
situation, Jason?
I wasn't listening.
Yeah, okay. What's your
My
next
second thing.
Jerk.
I'm just waiting to talk. There was something you were working and someone did something.
The name of the show might as well be Waiting to Talk.
Waiting to talk. That'd be a good name of a show. We don't listen. We just wait to talk. We went to a water park. Took the kids to the water park this past week. Are you listening? You need to make eye contact and
sorry.
You
acknowledge
went to
that
the
I'm
zoo?
speaking.
What?
Water park. So 2 things immediately come to mind. One, I am all in favor of men going to men's restrooms and women going to women's restrooms. We've talked about this briefly, but there's a dude in a bikini goes into the women's restroom.
Dude in a bikini goes into the women's restroom.
Yeah. Now, it's worse than that. He also, we were in the kiddie section at the water park.
Oh, yeah.
He's in the kiddie bathroom, in the girls' bathroom.
Yeah.
It's a dude in a bikini.
No, I'm
There's
fighting.
no mistaking
Did
it.
you? How close were you to doing something about
Super
this?
close.
Yeah.
Now, I don't have any. My girl's 18 and in college. She wasn't even with us. So, had she been Teddy's age, 9 years old, and in the bathroom at the time,
You'd have walked right in.
oh, he's not getting in there.
Yeah.
You're not going in there.
Yeah.
You're going to wait right there until my daughter comes out.
Yeah.
And I would have. I don't care
it would
who.
have been- it would
I
have
don't
been a
care.
whole thing.
It would have
Yeah.
been a whole thing. And I don't care.
You wouldn't have been wrong.
No, I would not have been wrong at all. The people next to us. So like I'm facing this way, and Shelby's. We're looking at each other. We're sitting on chairs, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, that's a dude." I'm like, "What?" And I look around, and he was going into the women's bathroom. You know, I just saw the back, like the bikini, or whatever. And the people sitting beside of us, they had a daughter in the bathroom at the time. And you could see the mom, like some anxiety, like she started standing up and started walking over there. And then her daughter came out. So like there was never a conflict, but like, why do you got to be this way? Why? So also there's a family bathroom there. Dude in a bikini who identifies as a female, whatever. I mean, whatever you want
Just
to do.
use the
that's fine.
single
Just
restroom.
use a single family restroom.
Yeah.
Where you're not bothering anybody. They do this on purpose.
Yeah.
They want want to antagonize.
I
They
think
want
so.
to.
I think you're right.
I know I'm right. Listen, you can identify however you want. Live life like you want to.
Right. You're an adult.
You're an adult. Do what you want.
Right.
You're an adult.
You're a libertarian at heart.
At heart, I really am. Do what you want.
Right.
The problem is the moment it interferes with me, I'm going to do what I want. And you're not going to like
specifically your
this.
kids.
Oh, when it comes to me and my family, nothing, nothing will stop me.
Yeah.
They will be done. They will be done.
Yeah.
So it just works me up. I can't stand it. And I would have done it for the people sitting beside. I didn't know them.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I saw the mother getting worked up. I mean, I'm going to have her back at this point.
Sure,
Like,
yeah.
whatever you want, man. I'll rip this dude out of there.
Yeah.
And I don't care. I don't
Yeah.
care if I get kicked out. I don't care what happens.
Right.
Put me on the local news. I will go crazy.
Yeah.
And we'll have a story going on.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm going to come out ahead. Because this is common sense. Why do you let in a dude in a little girl's bathroom?
Hey,
It bothers me.
I'm with you.
So that got me worked up.
Uh-huh.
But I also was thinking this. At the water park.
Yeah.
I had to use the restroom at the water park.
As you do.
I go into the restroom. And it's an okay restroom.
I assume number 2, because if it was number 1, you would just go in the water, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. That's what leads me to
Sometimes I go number 2 in the water. Yeah.
that's my point. I think because the restrooms are just okay, and they're not super convenient. Sometimes they're kind of spread out. I think the restrooms at water parks ought to be the biggest, best, nicest restrooms on the planet.
You really want to encourage people to go.
Encourage people to go to the restroom.
Right.
Because if you have to get out of the pool and walk 10 yards, I'm not doing it.
So
it's got to be
at-
closer, and it's got to be easily accessible.
At Sun Swim Pool in Prospect, Ohio,
Yeah.
the boys' restroom at the time the urinal went. It was one of those that went all the way to the floor.
Yes.
Urinals, you
Uh-huh.
know. So at the beginning of the day, if you got to the pool first, like
Yes.
if right during the opening and you had to go use the restroom, everything's fine. Dry. You can
Not
walk
an
right
issue.
up and
Yeah.
use the restroom.
Right.
But of course, what happens is kids run from the pool and then go to pee, and then they pee, and then they run away. But they've been dripping water.
Yeah,
So then
pool water.
pool water, but
Yeah.
you don't really know the difference. So then next time you're the next person that walks up and you see all that water on the ground, you're like, I'm not stepping in that.
I don't know what that is.
So now you're going to pee from like 3 feet away, right? So
Yeah, you
that
gotta
way,
get a little
so you get a
rainbow.
little arc on
Yeah.
it. You know, by the end of the day, you got guys with their backs to the walls trying to make some kind of record shot 10 feet away, and pee. I mean, it's just all
pee
over
everywhere.
the floor because nobody wants to step in it. So it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yes.
Like if you would have just said, you know what? That's pool water. If everybody would just be like, it's obviously
we
pool
all
water.
agree that this is pool water.
But you cannot trust that.
Right.
And then what happens is people start peeing from further away, and then inevitably pee actually does get on the floor.
Yes.
And so it's just the way that it
at a
is.
certain point, he's like, I'll just be in the pool.
Yeah, because what's the difference?
What's the difference?
This urine-soaked floor. I'm not going to walk in here.
I'm going to get everybody's urine in the pool other than just my urine in the pool.
The problem with the long shot pee is not right in the middle of it. It's the beginning and the end. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, in the heart
Midstream, you're good.
midstream, the heart of the pee, as I call it.
Yes.
You know, you can do some pretty amazing things.
Yes.
But listen, and I've tried other methods, you know, like with the hose, when you turn the hose on and you put your thumb on the top of it,
Yeah.
and you let the pressure build up, and then you let it go, and it, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I've tried that method. It doesn't work.
No.
You know. And then the end, there's just nothing you can do. You can try to stop it like a quick stop, you know, full stream to a quick stop, you know.
Yeah.
That's not easy to do.
And
know?
you never think about the end until you're approaching it. You're like, oh,
Yeah.
this is going really well. Oh, crap. Oh, crap.
Yeah,
Oh,
right.
no.
And then you're doing the running thing, or you're trying to, So it's
So
a
I
real
think-
problem.
I think the bathrooms at pools or water parks ought to be the best ever.
I just like to make a pitch that more public restrooms are just nice than other
Yes.
ones. You
Yeah.
know, Sheetz gas stations are pretty nice. Those restrooms.
Yeah.
But there was playing like rave music in there. It's like, what's going on? It's like, all right. Do we want to? I got something, or we could do the Netflix
Let's
suggestion
do
of the week.
Netflix.
Let's do the Netflix suggestion.
Netflix, watch these shows with us. Netflix, or maybe Hulu Plus. Netflix, watch these shows with us. Netflix, or maybe Hulu Plus. Or maybe Amazon Prime or something like that, like YouTube. Or we don't want to put a box around what you watch, so you never know.
Jason, what is your Netflix suggestion of the week?
My Netflix suggestion of the week, we watched this last night as a family on Disney.
Okay.
The new Doctor Strange Into the Multiverse. And it's available now.
They're calling it like a horror movie.
It's extreme. It's rated PG-13, and I think even 10 years ago it might have been an R.
Oh, yeah.
It's weird. I mean, there's some demonic stuff in it. Teddy, 9 years old, he watched it, PG-13, and it did have some moments in it that were extreme. So I would say anything younger than Teddy, probably not, because it's pretty extreme.
Yeah.
But I think it was good. Teddy, you liked it, right? Yeah. I mean, in general, I think it was very good. Harrison did not like it.
Too scary for him.
Too scary. And so the whole multiverse element, I like the possibilities it could create.
I'm kind of done with the multiverse.
Well, here's the thing. I was telling Harrison, what I don't like is this continuation of the multiverse being messy.
Yeah.
What I want to see is just create, like, part of this multiverse. I think they labeled our multiverse 616, like we're the 616th version of
Infinity.
Of however many multiverses there are.
Isn't that the whole point? Is that it's an infinite amount?
I don't know.
You should have
Listen,
said that there's going to be spoilers in this episode.
it doesn't matter. But there's another world where it's like 838, and this is
Okay.
another one. To me, what I would love to see is Marvel create Marvel 838, and they do a whole thing with
I got it.
everything.
I got it.
You know, Marvel 727, where this is a whole nother universe.
All of a sudden, Batman shows up in one. 'cause
That's what I'm saying. It could be
possible.
anything. Anything's possible.
Yeah, I hear you.
Different
I just
actors.
feel like the whole multiverse thing is played out, in my opinion. I'm just kind of like, that was cool, I guess, for
Yeah.
like Spider-Man or whatever.
The Spider-Man was fun.
But I'm just kind of done with it personally.
Yeah.
That's
It's
my
fine.
opinion.
What noise do I keep on hearing? Jesse, is that you? Stop. It's a child. It's like clicking. I'm sure that's coming through on the audio.
Jesse
can't be.
tonight looks like the dad of the other kid on your Little League baseball team that is just causes problems.
Yes.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And everybody kind of puts up with them, you know, but he's just kind of a jerk.
He's got a beer and a little foam
No
cooler
one's
at
asked
the Little
him.
League.
No one's asked him to coach. In fact, he's been explicitly asked to not coach and to
Right.
stay in the stands.
Yeah.
But he just can't help himself. You know, he knows the first name of all the umpires. You know,
Yes.
and he's just that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He has a little Danny McBride going on right now, too.
Oh no,
he just got a little bit of
he's
Danny
one of my
McBride.
least favorite actors.
I love Danny
You-
McBride.
yeah,
Danny McBride's one of my favorites.
yeah. You're a big fan.
Well, then thank you.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got, what was the Eastbound and Down?
yeah,
Like, you got a little Eastbound and Down Danny
Yeah.
McBride going
a little
on
bit,
right now.
a little bit. So my Netflix suggestion of the week, I believe it's found on Paramount. I'm pretty sure about this. It's a documentary. It's called Levitated Mass. Okay, so there's this
Spontaneous levitation.
levitation. Yes, spontaneous.
Where the bread becomes leavenized.
Oh, yep. That's what it is. And it was like flatbread, but whoa, now it's poofy. That's one, but that's not the one I watched.
Okay.
I watched Levitated Mass.
Okay.
So there's this Michael.
Is it Catholic Mass?
It's about Catholic Mass.
Uh-huh.
And it's
They have
about
to confess all their sins.
and then they levitate. Once they've gotten them all out, then
Yeah.
because the sin is weighing them
weighs them
down,
down, yeah.
and once they say that final sin, then they start to float, and then they go to heaven. So it's called
That's how it works.
Levitated Mass.
Unless you get every sin out,
Yeah.
there's no chance to levitate
It's
to heaven.
directed by Matt Walsh and
It's Daily Wire's newest movie.
Levitated. Michael Knowles is the
Ben Shapiro was not allowed on set.
no, he is. That's another one. There's also another levitated mass that's
Okay.
found on Paramount Plus, and there's this artist named Michael Heiser. Okay, now you might say artist. Okay, but you're uncultured.
Yes.
We know this.
I'm uncultured.
Yeah, whatever the opposite of woke is, you're
I'm unwoke.
You're sleeping.
I am sleep.
You're comatose,
Yes.
basically.
Yeah.
Right. And so anyway, he's an artist, but it's not like your traditional stuff. Like it's like big sculptures, or like he has like an art display in a museum where you walk in and it's this room and there's just like 3 holes in the ground, like giant holes. Like one is like a triangle, one is a circle, and one is a square. And it's just
And you got to figure out which one to pee, which one to poop, and which one to vomit in.
yes. So and he does these big things. So but this is about it's this piece of artwork. You can Google search it. It's called Levitated Mass. Okay, so that's what it ends up looking like.
It's a big rock.
It's a big rock, and it's over this. They dug in like a trench and made it out of concrete so you can walk under it. Now that rock is 340 tons.
Okay.
It's displayed at the LA something Museum of Art, and I think LA County or something like that, Museum of Art. And this guy had this idea like in the 60s that he wanted to do this. He wanted to find this giant boulder. And he had this kind of diagram drawn up since the 60s, but he could never find the boulder. It's hard to find a boulder that big. Yeah. And so he had this deal with this guy that worked at this mine or something like that. He's like, if you ever come across something, give me a call and let me know. So he's like, one day he said, hey, we're doing some stuff, and a big piece came off. Come and look at it. It's a 340 ton.
That's big.
rock.
Yeah.
Right. It is big.
Yeah.
And it is 80 miles from the museum
Oh gosh.
that they want to get it to. So
First of all, this is stupid.
well, that's part of the whole thing,
Okay.
right? So like
To me, it almost seems like a mockumentary.
they're
Like how they're going to figure out how
this
to
would
get.
be a great mockumentary. In
How they're gonna
fact,
figure out how to get this
documentary
rock.
now should definitely do this.
Okay.
Like because it would be as a mockumentary. If documentary now did it, it would be phenomenal. But I thought it was kind of interesting, right?
Yeah. Listen, I love a good doc.
It's a good documentary,
Yeah.
and a lot of it is about like just logistically, how are we going to get a 340-ton boulder 80 miles through L.A.?
A more important question is why.
Well, because it's
So-
art.
Just so people can show up and say, "That's a nice boulder.
Yeah.
I like."
There was
that
a lot of
boulder."
that.
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of people have said that when they walked up. Because
This
it
is
is
why
a nice
this
boulder.
is done in L.A. and not Toadsuck, Arkansas. If this boulder's in Toadsuck, Arkansas, levitated
is where it is.
It's this big stupid rock.
Well,
And that's what they would call it to. Hey, you go over there, that big stupid rock. I've been over there a couple times today.
they had to raise like $10 million to make this whole thing happen. That's what it cost. Now, it was all private money. It was
Yeah.
private, pretentious individual millionaires who said, yeah, I'll donate $1 million towards this piece of art. And they had to literally build a truck. This truck that they had to create these steel beams that it kind of like suspended from in the middle, and then it had I don't know how many tires it had, and it had 3 turn points because to make the turns it just couldn't be the one. So they had 3 turn points. It had an engine in the front pulling it and 2 engines in the back pushing it. So there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Not to mention every single town, every single county.
You had to clear the road.
Well, you got to clear the road, but it took a whole year just to get all the permits together because they had to have a bucket truck follow them along the whole way so that they could clear lines, power lines and stuff. So they'd clear power lines ahead of them so they could make it through. And they had to create a route because they couldn't go over a lot of bridges because they were too heavy.
Yeah.
A lot of bridges they couldn't go under because they were too big. The one guy that was like in charge of basically he spent months and months just charting the course, and he had this big pole that he would measure. He would walk up and be like, can we make it? You know? And he said, I just wish the artist would let us shave 6 inches off the top of this
that's
boulder.
funny.
He goes, if we had 6 inches, our life would be way easier, but we don't.
He dropped the truck 6 inches.
No, because the way that the
bed of the truck is on the ground.
well,
basically,
it's like there's 2 steel beams, and then the rock is kind of suspended. So the rock is only like that far from the ground, basically. The way, I mean, they thought about all these things, and it took a long time to make it happen. And it was, but it was this
How
whole
would you
thing.
shave 6 inches?
They were like,
nobody would
just
know. A little chisel.
But and all this, it kind of became a thing where everyone knew it was happening, and there were like hundreds of people out in the street, like drinking, watching this rock go by. And the funny thing was, they're like because they wrapped the rock in plastic, which is hilarious too. Like they're protecting it from what?
Yeah.
But it was completely wrapped in this white plastic, so you couldn't really see the rock.
That's like a UFO or something.
Well, there's some people that they interview like along the side of the road,
Yeah.
and she's like, I know that they're telling us that's a rock, but that don't make no sense. How's a piece of rock gonna be an artwork? That is some kind of. I heard that came from Area 61 or something like that, And there's something they're not telling us about that thing. Why they got to cover it up? What's the deal? But it was just a pretentious person covering up this rock.
Yeah.
So I think it's a pretty good documentary.
Okay.
It's
On Paramount.
On Paramount.
Levitated Mass.
Erica hated it.
Yeah.
She hated it so much, she went to bed and was still like, shut it off.
So he did nothing to
I'm going
this
to bed.
boulder.
Shut it off.
The only thing that he did was
They
from,
shaved once they figured out where they wanted it to be and how they wanted it to rest on those 2 steel beams so that it can kind of levitate over that ditch. They had to slowly get this giant machine to kind of drop it like foot by foot, and then he kind of like did some shaving off the bottoms of it to make sure it could like
Level.
Yeah, it would be how they wanted it, from a security
For
standpoint.
$10 million, maybe people just go to wherever this rock is.
But here's the thing. Well, maybe. But here's the thing about this levitated mass, right? From an artwork standpoint, you paint a picture, you make other sculptures. It's at some point, it's gonna go away. That thing is gonna be there
probably forever.
for 10,000 years from now. People are gonna be like, "What's the deal with that big boulder?" Because we know it didn't just show up there.
Yeah.
We know somehow it got put there, right? And so I think he likes to create artworks that are going to like last
Okay.
for millennia.
It's stupid, is what it is.
He likes to take things that already exist and put them in places where they don't belong, so he can make money.
This is
and
kind of his
stupid
thing.
people can pay to go see it.
I appreciate the arts. I do.
I feel like I feel like that's like a baseline, it's like deep in our DNA. There's something about like seeing a rock and being like, I wonder if we could move that thing, right?
Well, yeah.
You know, like I remember I was going on a drive with my kids. We were in Montana and we're kind of up in this kind of rocky area, and there's this big rock, big rock, and I was like, let's get that and put it at our house, you know? And so now it became like, and I like basically broke my back. I was like, a big rock is heavier than you think it is.
Yeah.
And I put it, I somehow got in the back of our van, and the whole van is like sagging super low. And then I just backed up wherever we wanted, and I got in the van, and I just kicked it out, you know? But I feel like that's just like I don't know, like
when you were moving at one point from Oklahoma to Virginia, we had a flat tire somewhere in the middle of West Virginia or Kentucky or something like that, and we're sitting in this like dive diner type of thing. It's just like in the middle of nowhere, and we're sitting there, we're looking at this mountain. And I remember we had a whole discussion of how long it would take for us to get to the top of the mountain. Which is funny because we grew up, cornfields,
just flatness.
We have no concept of mountains.
No.
We're looking at this mountain in West Virginia, and you're like, I think I could do about 45 minutes. Like under an hour. And you're like, we're debating that.
And you're like, I don't know, maybe an hour, you know? And then this is our thing. And Erica just got furious.
Because she's from the mountains.
Right, yeah. And she was like, it would take you all day to get up that mountain. And you might not even make it. You know?
No, look at it. I can see the top.
I could throw a football and hit it. It would take me 45 minutes to get up that thing, you know?
Under an hour for sure.
Turns out she was right. But we were quite sure 45 minutes to an hour was about, like if I take a break, maybe an hour.
Yeah, but there's something in us.
Right.
Yeah, that is wired that way.
Right. That thing of like, can I get there? Can I swim across that?
Right.
Can we get this giant thing all the way over there? How many of these things can we stack on one another?
Right.
Right. It's like a baseline humanity. I think it's a man thing.
I think
too.
it is a man thing.
Like just like a baseline. And so,
how many of this could I eat?
Yeah, that sort of thing.
How long would it take me to polish this off?
Yeah, exactly.
How many of these could I polish off?
So you know, I grew in appreciation, but I thought the documentary was good because they were interviewing people along the road. And, you know, some people are like, you know, like, I think it's wonderful, you know, and some people are like, they should take that money and feed the homeless, and then the UFO people. And so
I want to see the Catholic Mass one, the levitation.
The Levitated Mass, it was a real eye-opener for me. So I'm
and you said that was an Andrew Cleveland thing?
It was Michael Knowles.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Michael
he's the Catholic. So, all right. This is Dan signing off for Jason, reminding you to always keep your stick on the ice and never wear the blue sweats.
Sit. Good dog.
I've spoken.
That's a nice boulder. That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That makes honestly, you explaining it, I'm getting furious over here. I'm getting as furious about that as he does in the freaking McDonald's drive-thru.
I also think it's stupid. I do appreciate, in general, the art as a whole, but some things are just stupid.
Well, and you know the only people that give two craps about that to go see it are the pretentious people from LA.
Oh yeah, they interviewed a couple of the donors. I mean, they were really pretentious, and they interviewed the guy that runs the art museum was the one that was kind of like overseeing the whole thing.